can you possibly have a career in racing? Maybe. What's up, people? I've got a question here today from somebody I thought I would answer. And he writes, "Hello, sir. My name is Noah Cook. I'm 19 years old and currently stationed in Japan with the United States Air Force. I really love racing and all things motorsports. However, there isn't much I can do while I'm overseas. I'm in a few car groups on island, and I work on cars with my friends. I'm an F-15 mechanic by day," which helps a lot. I bet it does, man. That's cool. "I was wondering if you have any more advice on how to start a career in racing, primarily focused on becoming a driver, or anything I can be doing to train for it right now while I'm overseas. I currently do a lot of sim racing to learn basic techniques of racing. Thank you for your time, sir." Well, Noah, I appreciate you writing, and I appreciate what you're doing. Cool job. And certainly being in the Air Force, where integrity, service before self, and professionalism in everything you do is something I resonate with and respect the heck of. So let's talk about this. So racing career. Okay, man. So I'm going to give you some great tips, some hard facts, and hopefully a little bit of inspiration that all of you will enjoy as well. First best place for you or anyone, and even people that have been racing for a long time, to get going at is kart racing, an asphalt road course purposely built for racing karts. Now, I'm not talking about like those places where you can go by and they're like cool karts and they're bumpers and all that. They're pretty fast, but that's not real racing karts. You know, I'm talking either 4-stroke or 2-stroke, and there's loads of different classes. 4-stroke, real popular, like the Clone classes, single cylinder, or the Briggs World Series engines, which are sealed motors. In 2-stroke, the old good standby is the Yamaha KT100. There's also the tag classes with different motors, I think about 125cc, and those are liquid cooled. Now, all the karts I just mentioned are single speed clutch, okay? There's also shifter karts, typically of 125cc, and I think 85 is the other size. Now, I generally shy people away from shifter karts, especially starting out. Because of all the shifting and the physical demands of it, you can develop some bad habits as a driver. Whereas all the single speed karts, you become a fantastic driver because every nano percentage of each percent matters to the corner if you're actually going to win and be consistent and be a good driver. The other reason karts are really great is you can get into them cheap, or at least cheap by racing standards, okay? And I always am a huge advocate and fan of buying used equipment. Go out and buy somebody else's setup if they're moving up in a class or they're getting out. And oftentimes those people are going to give you setup sheets and a lot of hints and tips. You're going to learn what to do or what not to do with them. So you've got some sort of like baseline to start with, and start with a lot more knowledge, and you get the parts cheap. You just got to get decent equipment. And when you go to sell it, you don't take as big a hit if you buy all kinds of new stuff. So kart racing is the best. For one, it's going to develop you as the best driver. It requires a huge amount of physical fitness and acumen, hand-eye coordination, et cetera, and you have the least amount of money in it. It's also the least amount of money to go to races. That's a moment where you also have to ask yourself an important question. Are you just doing this to be like a fanboy and you want to play pretend race car driver, or you really want to be a racing driver? Because karts in the United States are not necessarily that glamorous. You're not going to get necessarily giant crowds and be going to these really romantic big tracks like Watkins Glen or Indianapolis Motor Speedway or Laguna Seca or something like that. But if you're a real racer, you're going to find out it's the best thing. Because I tell you what, man, if you're ever around here, you want somebody to go race with you or whatnot, call me up. I'll race with you. Karts are amazing, and I look forward to do that. And it's just super fun. Honestly, a lot more fun than something like this. Because it's really demanding. It's exciting to be out there in the air and hardcore wheel to wheel, okay? And if you hurt something on the kart or whatnot, it costs a lot less to fix, something like that. So that's the best place to get started and develop your skill. The reason why I don't go on that much further on that talk with young people is, here's the truth about racing, and you need to know this right now. It's a crappy sport, and it's a crappy world. I'm being honest. It serves no purpose for the world other than entertainment anymore. And a lot of people like to argue it's for the development of cars and whatnot. But truthfully, Formula One is virtually completely irrelevant to modern cars. What the world really needs is like recyclable cars that are efficient, that people can actually afford, not crazy carbon fiber supercars. See where I'm going with that? So you would end up being effectively an entertainer and a sportsman. And that's fine. But the thing that stinks about racing at its core level, there are no tryouts. You know, teams and people that are big advocates and like racing like to tout like, oh, we have these tryouts. Or look at this one single individual that came from nothing. Come on. Racing is a wealthy person's sport, period. And that stinks because it's a cool sport. It's really cool. But the fact of the matter is it's really expensive to do it. I mean, you work on F-15s. You know the kind of manpower, expertise, engineering knowledge, training, and cost of operation of something like that. A silly race car is less, but it's a lot. And the trouble with a world like that is it becomes a wealthy man's game and business. You don't get to just be good. Doesn't matter if you're a great person with a great heart that all the fans will like, that's an amazing driver. Did you hear what I just said? It matters if you can bring money to the table and you're an okay driver, because they can make you look like whatever they want to for the public. They can sell you. They can look good. I don't want to say names, but you know, one thing that always made me sad as a person that tries to be a role model for young people, there was a young woman a while back ago that got into racing, and I watched her be groomed specifically for it. It wasn't because she was the best role model on the planet, and it wasn't because she was the best driver on the planet. It's because she would look good in a magazine, and it's the sad truth about it. And racing, because of that, you see generations come after, like the son of a famous driver, the grandson of a famous driver. And the truth of the matter is they usually suck, because it takes a huge amount of fire and drive to make that happen, and they're there because of their name, because the connections are already there. And that's how racing becomes highly exclusive. They're not going to let anybody new in. It also becomes hugely backstabbing, and they put their thumb on it. So I've really, quite frankly, just crapped all over racing. But, you know, I'm a realist. I fell in love with racing just like you did a long time ago, and I was good at it. I was also good at building cars. And eventually, I saw all this. All the negative sides and all the shadows the rest of the world and all these racing people don't want you to see or don't want to admit to. And I said, screw it. I'm going to make racing matter. If I've got some talent and connections and anything going, I can make it matter. So that's why I built Genius Garage. So all these wacky things here exist just to teach. That Champ car doesn't go out unless it's with the students. They get to modify it, build it, do whatever they want. It's all these things. The BD5, the Pterosaur, whatever. It's opportunities to further people's career. So that's what it meant to me. Now, can you possibly have a career in racing? Maybe. I don't know. I do know that an Air Force salary is not going to stick you into an Indy car or even like a GT3 Porsche or a NASCAR or anything like that. So, one, you're going to have to be good. And you're going to have to be scrappy. And that's why kart racing is a perfect thing. Because you're going to get to enjoy the love of racing for the love of racing. And I hope that's the biggest takeaway I can give to you. Go race because you're an amazing racer and you love it. But don't go out there shooting for a dream that's realistically not going to happen unless the business or connections are there in a huge way. And then, not make good decisions for the rest of your life. What if you want a family in the future? Where do you want to go? Do you want to make investments? If you just blow all the money you ever make trying to put, I don't know, a BMW or a Corvette or something together to go run the SCCA, I can tell you what the chances are if you become a professional race car driver making a bunch of money for it. And they're probably going to be about the same as you going and playing the lottery. And yeah, it might be fun, but you can have fun in karts. The other thing too, I'm not necessarily suggesting it, but motorcycle racing, motorcycle road racing, that is still a sport, because there's one beautiful thing about motorcycle racing over cars. It weeds out the untalented, the unlucky, and the rich kid trust fund babies that are just there because their dad or grandfather was famous. So if you're into bikes and you don't necessarily mind the risk and you're a tremendous athlete and racer, you might just be able to go a lot farther in Grand Prix motorcycle racing than cars. But keep in mind that is dangerous, and all motorsports come at risk. But you working on F-15s know the best way to be safe is to do a job perfectly. It's all about risk management. Anyway, man, the only other thing I can tell you if you want to do racing for real and professionally is go figure out how to be famous. that helps a lot. There's a bunch of, you know, celebrities and stuff out there that get to go racing and put the business on it because they're famous. Sorry, but it's true. There's no real tryouts for racing. It's a backstabbing world of power and the aristocracy of racing and things like that. So I'm just telling you now because you might be able to find a way to make it work. Beyond that, love that you're in the Air Force. I love that you're serving the nation, and keep it up, man. F-15s are awesome, and I bet you're learning a lot. But go try out kart racing. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. I think you're going to become a better driver. And hey, hope someday maybe I get a race with you. Anyway, like it, you guys. I hope you subscribe. I'll see you next time.